everybody. Welcome to the Spear Film Review channel. I'm Alan.
I'm Olivia.
And today we're going to review
Tenet,
which we saw at the movie theater about 4 days ago.
Yes.
So it's taken us about that long to sort of like process what it is that we saw and what it is that we're going to be discussing today. So Tenet is a Christopher Nolan film. Christopher Nolan, for those of you who don't know, is the director of, like, for instance, the Dark Knight movie, the Batman Dark Knight movies, and also Inception, and several other films throughout the years. He's really good at making these huge kind of like blockbuster, mind-twisting movies. Interstellar is another one. His movies tend to have huge action sequences, and they usually involve something that's very, very, I don't want to say confusing, or but it's a little bit, what would you call it? It's just complicated. Yeah. Sometimes you have to kind of like sit there and try to figure out what he's doing.
Yeah, it's not always so clear.
So with Tenet, I think we could go about it, talking about it in a way of starting off with the good and the not so good about the film.
Okay, so good. The music was spectacular.
Yes. Ludwig Göransson was the conductor who gave us the score for this music. Yes, the composer. Sorry. It is amazing, and it's everywhere in the film. I mean, I could listen to the music from Tenet without the movie on, and it just, you can feel it. And the way that we watched it in sort of like the Dolby Cinema, we could feel the music just like coursing through our body.
You could feel the bass like during the entire movie. Like before I realized that we weren't in California anymore, I thought it was an earthquake. Like it was just like so insane.
Yeah, it did feel like a little bit scary how incredibly in your face the music was. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I actually think that was one of the best things about the film. Another good thing about the film is that it was completely action packed. And that made it extremely entertaining. And you didn't even have time to really process what it is that you just saw, and then something else is happening, and that was happening all throughout the film, one after another. There was very little downtime. There was very little time, which is a problem for something else that actually happened in the movie. But there's no doubt that this is one of, if not the most action-packed film I've ever seen in my life. And I'm 50 years old, and it definitely was.
And then the quality of the action in it was absolutely amazing. Like that fight
choreography.
Like it was amazing with the inverse fighting. Oh my God.
And that was another thing too. Was the special effects that were used in order to show things happening forwards and backwards at the same time, which is kind of part of the whole story of the movie, which was that time was moving forwards and backwards at the same time.
Yeah, someone figured out how to.
Yeah, it made it very difficult to sort of like know where you were, sort of like in the plot line and everything like that. That involves like the sort of like bad side of the problem with the movie. But the third really great thing about it was that all of the performers were excellent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
John David Washington was the lead. He was very charismatic, very believable as sort of like the hero, the James Bond of the movie, and he played it extremely well. Robert Pattinson, who was sort of like, I don't want to call him his sidekick, but he was there too, and he was so funny. These British one-liners that he would let out, it was really great. Elizabeth Debicki,
I liked her. My brother did not like her.
Yeah, she was a little bit irritating to my son, mainly because every single time that things were going well, her presence and something that happened with her changed it to where it wasn't going well. But
I thought she was great. I liked her character.
She was fantastic in the film. You might know her from a movie like Widows. She was also in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, where she played the Sovereign, the leader of the Sovereign. Yeah,
okay.
so she's been around. And then of course Kenneth Branagh, who is a fantastic Shakespearean actor, played a Russian bad guy.
Right.
He was the main bad guy in the movie. But yeah, they're all fantastic. So great action, great music, great sound, fantastic, very funny movie, very entertaining film.
Yeah, one of like the biggest things that people were like saying about it negatively was that there's no humor in it, which
Right.
I completely disagree with. I think it's one of the most humorous Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah, it was definitely very funny. I definitely think because of Robert Pattinson more than anybody else. Robert Pattinson was actually funny in this film.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the bad side. So, the thing about the movie, and I think that this happens sometimes in Christopher Nolan movies, is that it was so complicated and difficult to follow a lot of the time that it made it just you wish that they would have made it a little bit easier to follow. And then of course, because the sound was so loud.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to hear people talk.
It was hard to hear them talk. So whenever it was that they were trying to tell you what was going on, sometimes you couldn't hear them.
You see, sometimes they do turn down the music so that you hear a little bit of it, but like most of the time it's like
in your face, like the
Yeah.
music and the sound and the way that the sound editing was happening was in such a way. And I mean, I liked the sound. It was really it added a certain suspense to the movie and everything like that. So I don't really know what they could do in order to make you understand and follow the
Subtitle the whole
story.
thing.
Yeah, throughout the entire movie. And the story was interesting. I don't think that the characters have much of a character arc really,
Not
except for
really.
maybe the Elizabeth Debicki character, and maybe her, and like for the most part, like and there were times when things would happen and I would be like sitting there going, I have no idea why this is going on right now, but I'm loving it. I'm loving what I'm seeing on the screen, but I don't really know why this is happening. And I feel like this is something which is going to require multiple viewings, probably watching it with subtitles
once
in order.
it comes out on VOD, we're gonna watch
Yeah,
it.
no doubt about it. And we felt when we walked out of there that we really had an enjoyable experience and that we were very happy. Is that how you felt too?
Yeah, I really
one of these
enjoyed
times
it.
we're going to disagree about a movie.
Yeah,
It's going to be
probably.
interesting. so we definitely liked this movie. Going into this film, I believe that there was a definite possibility that Christopher Nolan was going to get a Best Picture Oscar nomination, a Best Director Oscar nomination. I no longer think that. My feeling after watching this movie is that it's not going to get a Best Picture unless a whole bunch of movies don't get released this year.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen because there's a whole bunch of movies which I feel like will go above it and transcend it as far as story, which is the reason why that's going to happen to it. I do think it'll probably get a score, sound, and possibly visual effects
Yeah.
Oscar nomination, and because all three of those things were just spectacular. I don't think it's going to get cinematography, although it was a very pretty movie.
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous. And Christopher Nolan likes to have things be real. So for the different sets and stuff, most like if it's being shot, like the scenes in India, they were in India.
Scenes that were in Italy were in
Yeah.
Italy.
Like that's so cool.
Yeah, they were globetrotting all around in order to make this movie. It cost a lot of a lot of money, so I'm hoping that it makes back its money so that the studios don't shy away from allowing Christopher Nolan this kind of budget again in the future. I often wonder what he would do these days with a limited budget, trying to make more of an artsy movie. But you know, nevertheless, I think that we're all happier that movies like this are out there for a really good, nice Saturday watch. You know, like, and as long as you don't allow yourself to get too bogged down with the details of the film, you can just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
that's
a fun movie.
that's really what this movie was all about. So, in the end, I would probably give it 4 stars out of 5. I do think it's very watchable. It's certainly not a perfect film. One of my favorites of the year so far. I think that there's only 3 movies which I feel like I can put up there on my possible top 10 of the year list, and that's Tenet. I'm thinking of Ending Things, and Palm Springs, which we have not done a video for Palm Springs yet. Maybe we'll do one.
We watched that long before.
A couple months ago. So that's something that we might go back and revisit. But what about you? What did you think of the film?
Yeah, I was also thinking 4 out of 5 stars.
4 out of 5 stars.
I don't usually like movies that are action with no substance behind that, but they have a little bit of substance, and the action was amazing. So like, I'm not complaining.
Yeah. So anyway, that was our review for Tenet. Thank you for visiting the Spear Family movie review, and we might be doing some other movies that maybe aren't quite as current or mainstream for a little bit here while we're waiting for the next film to come out. So thank you for following along, and have a great day.
Bye.